Now it is, but I'll go get the other mics. So you can move even closer. And I will. Good morning, Vic. Let's see if I can do this without spilling. Let me not try. Let me be safe. Nice. Very nice.
I don't want to be flat because then I'm
Great.
flat.
I can be flat. I'm going to go get the other mics. You don't.
I'm so sorry. I just know that you're going to where it could go.
Where it could go.
Thank you so much.
That's what I was getting. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. We just forgot to turn them on. Yes, I will. Thank you.
I'm on.
You know, it does make me glad I'm not a woman because I'd be really envious.
Oh, women are envious?
No, I would be envious.
I'm going to move this
It wasn't a generalization.
so that
It's a personal observation.
we can also move your thing when we want to read Torah.
Do you want me any more over?
No.
Okay, and I usually push this back.
That's what we'll need to do.
Oh, we're live, by the way.
Great.
I'll watch my language.
We'll speak in English or Hebrew so we can understand you. Silly goose.
Samantha, I don't think she heard you yet.
Shabbat shalom. What is that? Hey, Pelo. Just so you know, we're trying to see if anyone might want to sit in these chairs on over here. Just brainstorming, no pressure. Also, I realize Marty's over there, so never mind. Just for you to consider in the future. This is like in future Shabbat.
When I sit in there, I always sit down, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, those other chairs.
Yeah, you're always free to like move in the middle, but I see Marty's here, so it's actually very exciting. Shabbat shalom. So good to see you. Let me get my talis on. Shabbat shalom. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. It's so good to see you. Yeah, we're repositioned. This is also available. Available seating. Yes. It's not extra. All right.
Anybody who wants to sit there, that's our new thing for you. That's our new place to play. It's a good place. We're, I'm gonna turn this down. Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Elohim Ba'kol, Yad Elohim The presence of the divine is in every aspect of the universe. Shabbat Shalom and Boker Tov. As we settle into this Shabbos morning, we are doing just that, 185. I enter this sacred space to voice the longings of my heart in prayer and sacred company. I offer my love to the Holy One. Together, I devote myself this morning to psalm and song, study and prayer. May my heart be lifted, may my thoughts be deepened, and may my soul, like the eagle, soar. 186 every morning, and especially on Shabbat. Modeh ani, moda ani, odeh ani. Choose your pronoun, but always land first with gratitude. I am grateful. Grateful am I for this gift of life. Modani lefanecha melechai v'kayam. One 192. How beautiful, how amazing, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel.
Ma tovu
ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Vani berov chasecha avo veitecha eshecha ve'el hechochochecha ve'yiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha u'mekom mishkan kivodecha. Ani eshtachavev ve'efra lifnei Adonai osi bani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon. Elohim berov chasecha einei b'medisecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Alecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. 194. As we say each word in Hebrew, we focus on chalulim, chalulim, nikavim, nikavim, pathways and openings within our body, how this vessel of being, this human gift of body comes to serve my journey here today. I like to remind us that even if there is something that is tight or narrow or hurts or is of concern, the reality is that you arrived this morning, so something is working. We settle into a sense of amazement for this gift of being, of body, provided by the source. 194 together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah uvaravo nikavim nikavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chevodecha she'im yipateach echad mehem o yisatem echad mehem אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. 196, deep breath in, nishima. Touch your soul, nishama. With every breath we receive from the source, life. And with every out-breath, we are determining our nishama, our souls, who we are going to be in this morning, in this world, in our relationships, for the gift of breath and soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi Elohai neshama shenatata bi. Baruch atah Adonai asher b'yado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol b'sar ish. 198. As the sun comes up, we are able to discern the miracles, the daily miracles unfolding around us. Spring, liberation, strength, possibility, renewal. As we pray each paragraph with a munah, a melody that repeats itself, we land in the Khatimah, in the blue words, in the margin, helping us to orient ourselves with our Hebrew meaning. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech v'bina lahavchin bein yom uvein laila for awakening. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim for vision. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim for the ability to stretch. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Zokef Kefufim, for rising to the new day. Amen. 200. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Roka haaretz al hamayim. From firm earth to stand upon. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamechin mitzadei gaver, for the gift of motion. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Malbish arumim, for clothing the body. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hanotein laya'ef koach, for renewed enthusiasm for life. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hama'avir sheina me'enai, utnuma me'afapai, for reawakening. 202. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, sovereign of the universe, who made me in the image of God. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of the universe, who has made me free. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, source, sovereign of the universe, who has made me a Jew. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who girds Israel with strength. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our Tzor, sovereign of the universe, who crowns Israel with splendor. Amen. 204. For the privilege and responsibility of engaging in learning, in Torah, in study. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Amen. 211. Why fixed prayers? Why don't we just pray from our heart, whatever comes to us, to learn what we should value, what we should pray for, to be at one with our people, so that we can all pray together, the household of Israel, to ensure that the ideals, painfully learned and purified, and for which many have lost, have lived and died, shall not perish from the community, and shall have a saving influence upon the individual. 213. Hareini mizamen et pi lehodot ulehalel uleshabeach et bor'i. Together with this do I prepare myself to thank, praise, and glorify my Creator. Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Mehulal Batishbachot. Amen. 215. We meditate together. Ashrei Yoshvei 225, we pray responsively, perhaps another entry point into why prayer, perhaps an explanation of the rhythmic, ancient Aramaic of the Chetzi Kaddish. What makes a fire burn is space between the logs, a breathing space. Too much of a good thing, too many logs packed in too tight can douse the flames almost as surely as a pail of water would. So building fires
requires attention to the spaces in between as much as to the wood.
When we are able to build open spaces in the same way we have learned to pile on the logs, then we can come to see how it is fuel, an absence of fuel together that makes the fire possible.
We only need to lay a log lightly from time to time.
A fire grows simply because the space is there, with openings in which the flame that knows just how it wants to burn can find its way. On 224, the opposite page. Yitkadash, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabba, Amen. Be'alma divrach hirutei, Be'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, Uizman Kariv,
Ve'imru,
Amen. Yesh Merabba Mevorach, Le'olam Ulal Me'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Ve'yishtabach, Vitbar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitaleh, Vitalal, Shmei Tekudisha Berichu, Le'ela min kol birchata, V'shirata, Tushvechata v'nechemata, Dahamiran ve'alma ve'imru. Amen. 226, as you are able, it is our tradition to stand, to face Yerushalayim as a way of calling one another and ourselves into formal worship, as a way of connecting with our people, praying everywhere, in every corner of the earth this morning, all of us uniting through Yerushalayim. 226. Marveling at the world, the natural world, lightness and dark, spring and summer, winter and fall, the divine presence unfolding in the natural world together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ledarim aleha berachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chokhma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yifa'arucha selah.
Or Chadash,
Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir, V'nizke Chulanu, Me'era Le'oro, V'nizke Chulanu, Me'era Le'oro.
Baruch atah Adonai
Yotzer HaMe'orot. Amen. 230. Ahava Rabbah, Avtanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola V'Teirach Hamalta Aleinu, Ba'avor Avotenu Ve'emotenu, Shebatru V'cha V'tzlamdem Chukei Chayim, Kein Techonenu Utzlamdenu, Amirachem Rachem Aleinu, V'ten B'libenu Lehavin Ulehaskil, Lishmor lilmod ulelamed, Lishmor v'lasot ulkayem, Et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha, Be'ahava. Ve'ha'erenu b'toratecha, Ve'dahabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, Ve'yached levavenu, Ve'ahava u'lir'a et shemecha, Ve'lo nevosh, Ve'lo nikalem, Ve'lo nikashel, Le'olam va'ed, Ki v'shem kodecha, Hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu, Nagila v'nismecha, Nagila v'nismecha, b'yeshuatecha. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you, O source, work wonders. You chose us truly. You drew us near to you, great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Baruch atah Adonai, abocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. As you are able, please stand. 232.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. 234. How will you bring this love into the world? Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele
asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha. 237. Life without integrity is like loosely hanging threads, easily fraying from the main cloth, while in acts of piety, we learn to understand that every instant is like a thread, tzitzit, raveling out of eternity to form a delicate tassel, tzitzit. We must not cast off the threads, tzitzit, but weave them into the design of an eternal fabric. Each day points to eternity. The fate of all time depends upon a single moment. On the facing page, Liman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem
Adonai
Elohechem Emet. 241. Below the faint blue line at the bottom, Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches us about how to partner with the divine in bringing about redemption and healing, tikkun, in our world. It's not enough to be concerned for the life to come. Our immediate concern must be with justice and compassion in life here and now, with human dignity, welfare, and security. On the facing page, the words of Miriam and Moses and Bnei Yisrael, these same words that we told about during our Passover story, weave their way into our daily prayer, to our Shabbos prayer, the moment when we can imagine knowing the divine healing presence in our world.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, o sefer, Nora tehilot, o sefer. Shira chadasha, shipchu gelim l'shimcha, al svat hayam, yachad kulam hodu v'himlehu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. Tzor Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, uvdeichenu mecha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Amen. 242, the heart of prayer, facing Yerushalayim a second time this morning.
244.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula livnei bneihem, L'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. 246. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim atarav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, Kaye emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hametim. 248, for all that is holy. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kakatuv al yad neviecha, V'kara zel zeh v'hamar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Medor haaretz kevodo, Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Ma'adir, Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai, Mimkomo, Echad hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kol chai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yitzion, Ledor v'ador, Hallelujah.
From generation to generation.
Ledor v'ador,
Ledor v'ador,
Ledor v'ador,
Ledor v'ador, Nagid kolecha.
Ledor v'ador,
Ledor v'ador, Nagid kolecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatecha nakdish, kedushatecha nakdish. V'shivchecha Eloheinu, mipinu lo yamush, le'olam le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai. 250, a joy, an oneg, a delight.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Korei Shabbat.
Shabbat. Kulam yisve'u ve'yitanu metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidasho Shabbat. Chemdat yamid oto karata Shabbat. Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Right hand forward, left hand back. You got it. And start with your right foot. Yes.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Face the middle. Pull it back. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. From the top. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. From ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Amazing. Daniel wants to dance with us. I see. I can tell. A few more months, sweetie pie. A few more months and you can do it. Gorgeous. Holding that space of prayer. It is even traditional for those who are comfortable to continue standing. We continue from 250 through 260, each one of us belachash, in a whisper, finding our own spaces of prayer, making certain that we read not only the words written, but the white spaces in between, going deep. What is the prayer that I need, that I bring, that I offer this Shabbat? When you have completed your prayers this morning, work your way back to your seats. 362.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kima'asecha, malchutecha, malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avarachim hetiva v'rtzonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki v'cha levad batachnu, melech el-ram v'nisa adon olamim.
364.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai Yerushalayim.
366.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael be'kedushato.
We pray responsively.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Ma Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu l'Adonai iti, unramimo Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagivura, v'hagivura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Lecho b'shamayim u'v'haaretz, Lecho b'shamayim u'v'haaretz. Lecha Adonai hamelacha, hamidnaseh, lecho nerosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
But if you're going to use this, you need to push it a little bit so people can get through. And my preference is actually that you use the stand and be closer.
Okay,
That's my preference.
okay,
Is the stand somewhere?
yes. I have to get it, so just leave this 1 second.
Shabbat Shalom, Ellen, who's dancing.
That was nice. Dancing first time in a while. We are going to be reading from Mitzorah, Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 14, starting on line 33 in the red Chumashim. Jonathan, you're just in time to read.
Excellent.
Okay. And our first reader just walked in,
Relocating you. I'm so sorry, Al.
Jonathan Billick. It's on page 846 in the red Chumashim. I have a list for this week.
I'm sorry, I have to find the place first. What are we talking about?
The list. I was looking for Jonathan's name.
Oh, I can tell you.
Okay. Well, I know you can.
So I realized that we had been moving from place to place, and our Torah was actually set for Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach. So give me a moment, and let me
right.
get us to where we need to be.
That is correct.
Sorry about
Today
that.
is also Rosh Chodesh,
Ooh, so we will make sure to mark.
so I'm reading the Haftorah from Rosh Chodesh.
Perfect, perfect. So give me a break.
Chapter 14, 33 through 35.
Okay. Okay, here we are. So I apologize for that.
Okay, so Jonathan, now you can come on up. Nala Amod,
Jonathan ben Michael v'Maya.
Yonatan Mibeit
Michael v'Maya.
Michael V'Maya, Ha'aliyah Harishon, no.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu im kol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe v'el Aharon לאמור כי תבואו אל ארץ כנען אשר אני נותן לכם לאחוזה ונתתי נגע צרעת בבית ארץ אחוזתם בבית ארץ אחוזתם ובא אשר לו הבית והגיד לכהן לאמור כנגע נראה לי בבית. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת בחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. And you need to stay up with us. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
For the second Aliyah, Rabbi Yael is going to continue. I'd like to call Dave and Evie. We're going to continue reading right where Jonathan left off, starting on line 36. Nala Amod David mi Beit Shlomo v'Miriam, Nala Amod Chava mi Beit Yona v'Tova, Ha'aliyah ha'shenit.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen, amen. V'tziva hakohen, ufnu et habayit. B'terem yavo hakohen, lirot et hanega, v'lo yitamek kol asher babayit. V'achar kein yavo hakohen, lirot et habayit. Or v'ra'a et hanega. V'hinei hanega b'kir'ot habayit. Shekorot irakrakot. O adam damot. Umarehen shafal min hakir. V'yatza hakohen. Min habayit el petach habayit v'hizgir et habayit shiv'at yamim.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesher kochachem, yesher koach. As we pause here before the third aliyah, we bring our attention to individuals in our community who are in need of healing of body and of spirit. As Alexandra chants the Misha Berach, she will pause and I will add names of our congregation and then look to you for additional names that you want mentioned this morning.
Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et hacholim.
Skit Rabino, Todd Albelli, Jamie Berg, Amelia Byers, Audrey Cohn, Connie Creedon Muller, Phyllis Fillmore, Ellie Edelwitz, Lou Klein, Mary Jane Klein, Ken Lyjak, Jack Lyons, David Mallon, Jane Meyerson, Susan Otsenis, Merle Perlmutter, Claude Schleuderer, Anthony Schleuderer, Sloan Shortley, Kahana Skolnick, Lynn Spiro, Jenny Sumber, Tali Tolman Mineo, Ben Wilder, Kim Wiltsey, Sue Worthman, Lauren Petties. Healing. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. Thank you.
Celia Eisenstadt, David Eisenstadt, Marcia Rosen, Annette Gambino, Scherson.
Rachel Mibet Esther Tzvi, Dawn Neal, and Michael Sanchez.
Hakadosh Baruchu Yimele Rachamim Alehem Lahachlimam Urapotam Ulchasikam Vishlach Lahem Mehira Refuah Shlema Min Hashamayim Refuat HaNefesh Urefuat HaGuf Hashta Bagalav Vizman Kariv Vinomar.
Amen. Let me look just so that it's in. Today, Ellen came off the healing list, so it's so beautiful for me to watch her dance and to watch her read, and the way that she shows up constantly, even when she is struggling, she still shows up for all of us. So we want to be able to show up for Ellen. It's always a special treat when we don't just lean on her, but we get to honor her. Na la amod eta. מבית משה יצחק ויוכבד למפטיר לעלייה השלישית.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha bana mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Noten HaTorah.
Just looking to see where I am.
It was here before.
V'shav haKohen bayom hashvi'i v'ra'a v'hinei
Pasa.
Pasah ha'negeb b'kirot habayit v'tziva haKohen v'chiltzu et habanim asher bahem ha'negeb v'hishluchu ethem el mechutz la'ir el makom tameh ve'et ha'bayit yaktzia מבית סביב וספחו את העפר אשר הקצו אל מחוץ לעיר אל מקום טמא. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
And now I'd like to call Sheldon and Lauren to come up to help lift and tie the Torah. Please rise as we lift the Torah. Na'la'amod ha'gvul v'gelila.
Do you want to lift? Okay. So, table is a fulcrum, you know.
I got it.
You got it.
Bezot
HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. You can take a seat here. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Yeah, a bow always. I'm going to turn it around for you, and so it's easier. Always a bow as tight as you can make it. Moshe, do you want me to hold it? Torah. Hold the bow because when we come back to read, we want to get right in there. That's the tradition. Mitzi, but in your Velcro, we'll tighten it up. Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion. Your bow is here. You got it? Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tetzei Torah. Yesher Koach. Yesher Koach. Thank you guys so much. Adonai Yerushalayim. Page 374. Yahalelu et Shem Adonai. Kiniskav Shemo. Please, Nalakum, please stand. Hodu el eretz v'shamayim v'yaharem keren ve'amo tehila lecho chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al tazovu. Et chayim chi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha mehu Yeushar Diracheha Darchei Noam Bechol Netivoteha Shalom Ashivenu Adonai Elecha benashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu.
Kadesh Yameinu.
Okay, yes,
So this is Rosh Chodesh, so we're not going to be reading the Haftorah normally associated with this portion. In the Red Book, you can find it on page 1686. I am going to be reading, starting on line 10, Isaiah 66, line 10 through the end, 10 through 13, and then 23. If you happen to have a blue book, it's on page 1493.
Say the red again, please.
The red is 1686. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrayhem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei hamet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Simchu et Yerushalayim v'giluva kol ohaveha sisu ita mitsos kol hamit ablim aleha leman tinku usvatem mitshod tanchumeha leman tamotsu v'hi hanaktem mizis kuvodo kiko amar Adonai hineni note eleha v'nahar shalom uchnachal shotev kavod goyim v'naktem al tzad tinaseu v'al birkayim tishosau K'ish asher imo tenachamenu kein anochi anachem chem u'v'Yerushalayim tenuchamu v'haya midei chodesh b'chodsho u'midei Shabbat b'Shabbato yavo kol basar v'hishtachavot lifanai amar Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol alamim tzadik b'kol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'osei hamdabir makayim shekol devarai v'emet v'tzedek al haTorah v'al ha'avodah v'al yom hadvi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'lemnucha l'chavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach v'orachim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid la'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Yasher Kochet. Beautiful. I'm stuck on you, kid. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you to our readers, to Jonathan, and Ellen, and to our Hagbang Glila. So, first of all, it goes without saying that this is the wonderful, deadly portion. You landed this morning in the hardest portion of the Torah. You know, it's a hard book. Leviticus is a hard book. And this is a hard portion. I am going to take us today into the tzara'at in the house, and we're going to unpack it together. Yesterday night, I had my chance to have my bully pulpit. I made my message that was hopefully rooted in what I understand from the portion. But today, rather than coming with my own sense of what we need to take from it, let's unpack it together. So exactly where we were reading, I'm going to ask you to go to chapter 14, verse 33. Chapter 14, verse 33. And this is what we hear. The source spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "When you arrive in the land of Canaan, that I give you as a possession, and I will place a tzara'at affliction upon a house in the land of your possession." So what's the first question that we have? What's the first question you have? Why would God place this tzara'at, this affliction? We don't know what tzara'at is. People loosely call tzara'at leprosy. I won't let us say that. That's why I use the word tzara'at and not leprosy. What we know is that it's contagious, that it's threatening, that it can really mess us up. We know that it becomes visible, like on the skin, or as we learned, on the clothing, or now where we're focusing on the actual kirot, the actual walls of the house, this affliction. Evie's question about why would God place tzara'at, I want to use the right word, place tzara'at affliction upon us? Great question, Ev. What do you think? Why would the source place this affliction upon us?
Because of the consequence of struggling to undo the plague, as we're instructed to do. We're taught how to undo as well as to experience. Okay,
help me just to understand. Restate it one more time so I make sure I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. Sorry, say it again.
Saying that when you are afflicted with any troubles, the important function is the recovery from the troubles, or to deal with the troubles, or how to cope with the troubles. This is always an opportunity to experience, to grow from your experience.
Okay, I love your answer, but I feel like you still didn't answer, but I'm going to restate what you said and you correct me. Marty says, well, like everything, the source places this in our midst because it's an opportunity to recover that it's not about the affliction, but how you navigate out of it. Did I hear correctly?
That's correct.
And I love this response, but I'm still feeling like there's this river I have to cross. But wait a minute. Why would the source place it on us so that we can face the adversity? Is that what you're saying?
So we can grow from the.
So we can grow. So we can grow. I hear you want to jump in.
No, I agree with him because when the elders are first, they can see the diseases on the wall in the house, and then it closes. It's a kind of a device that something I'm reading as a metaphor that something is wrong.
They can
Something
see.
you are doing wrong.
They can see.
And then after, when you are you incorporate the disease, you are completely sick. You have a way to, like a different process to purify. What?
Purify.
Purify.
Yeah, purify. Taking conscious about what you've done wrong, you know.
Okay.
And you need to be away from the group.
You're saying so much. Let me just, Rita's dropping right in about the fact that, on your skin and then on your clothes and now on the house, you can actually see it. So when you see it, you can tend to it. So just because we say that the divine places the tzara'at in a visible place, is a metaphor for what already is there. The rot is already there. The illness is already there. The contagion is already there. And the reason I was pushing you is, I love this idea that, it's my challenge to grow, to see. But are you giving me the challenge so I can grow from the challenge? And that feels like weird parenting, but rather the challenges are there. And this idea that I give you tzara'at doesn't mean I give you the illness. I give you the visibility of the illness. It's like there's an illness that's actually happening within the walls of your house, the clothing, inside your being, but you haven't seen it yet. Actually, we know this. We know a lot of illnesses. Like a person is ill, but you don't see it, right? What's the problem? If you don't see it, you don't treat it. If you don't see it, you don't know that you're ill. If you don't see it, then you can't grow from it because you don't know that it's there. This, Evie, I believe, I asked the same question that you asked, but I really believe here it's not that God's bringing the illness, the ailment, what's not okay, the sin, whatever's happening. It's that it's there. And God gives us this way to see it. And when we were kids, we used to wear mood rings. Did anyone ever do those? You remember them? And you put them on, and it really did actually measure the heat in your body, but it didn't really tell you. I mean, I remember just getting those little charts, and was I angry or was I whatever? Was I happy? It's not exactly a science there, that mood ring, but it's pretty cool because it makes you go inward and be like, what's going on in there? And what's really great about the silly mood rings is that it's always not so clear what the color is, so then you have to actually interpret it. It's a metaphor so that we can solve it. Let's go a little farther, and then I'm going to bring you to some commentary. The one to whom the house belongs shall come and declare to the Kohen, saying, something like an affliction has appeared to me in the house. The Kohen shall command, and they shall clear the house before the Kohen comes to look at the affliction, so that everything in the house should not become contaminated. And afterward shall the Kohen come to look at the house. He shall look at the affliction, and behold, the affliction is in the walls of the house. depressions, deep greens and deep reds, and their appearance is lower than the wall. The Kohen shall exit from the house to the entrance of the house. He shall quarantine the house for 7-day period. That's going to be question number 2. Let me go a little farther, and then I'm going to come back to Marty. The Kohen shall return on the 7th day. He shall look, and behold, the affliction has spread into the walls. The Kohen shall command, and they shall remove the stones that contain the affliction, and they shall cast them out of the city onto a contaminated place, and the house shall be scraped on the inside, and all around the mortar that they have scraped, they are to pour outside the city onto the contaminated place. They shall take other stones and bring them in place of the stones, and they shall take other mortar and plaster the house. Now, I'm going to let you ask your question first.
I just was going to add that the visibility of the problem is not only apparent to you as the resident, but to the community as a whole, so that everyone is brought into the picture. And the question then is there compassion? Is there support? Is there physical involvement so that the problem can be solved?
So if I'm suffering, but you don't see it, and before I was focused on if it's within me and it doesn't present, then how do I treat it? But Marty's now bringing us to another point. If it's within you and it's not visible, then how does the community see the problem? And then when the community sees the problem, when it becomes visible, how do we respond? Do we respond with compassion, or do we shun? Do we respond with support, or do we dismiss? So that's a beautiful, beautiful point. Let me ask a couple of questions. Rita already answered, but let me ask it again, because that's one answer. What is this greenish, reddish stuff that's presenting on the mortar, the stones, the brick of the walls of the building? I feel like I'm jumping you back. So let me just, I want to say to you that there are several commentators who begin, and I need to do this. I sort of, had I asked this question first, I think maybe you guys would have gone there first. The Ralbag, Reb Levi ben Gershon, who was actually thought to be the grandson of the Ramban of Nachmanides, actually believed that that greenish, reddish stuff was a natural phenomena. Didn't agree with Rita. Said, this is a natural phenomena. The tzara'at that affects the clothes in the house is caused literally by ritivut, by dampness. You're asking what this red stuff is and green stuff on your house? Go home and look at the stone on your patio outside for that red and green stuff. And the Ralbag says, it's mold. Its mold is usually green and red. That's a natural phenomena. And so the Torah here is doing what? What's the Torah doing if Ralbag is correct, or if we're going to follow Ralbag? It's a natural phenomena occurring, and what's the Torah telling us to do?
How to clean it up.
How to clean it up. Here's a cleaning guide. Here's how you get rid of that yuck. Here's how you get rid of that mold. Actually, most of the rabbis don't agree with the Ralbag. They agree with Rita. It's not a natural phenomenon, but they're not going to just say it's a metaphor. There's another piece, which is it's a supernatural. It's not a natural phenomena. It's a supernatural phenomena that actually says divine grace, divine presence is at play here. you think. It's not just a metaphor like, yeah, I'm rotten to the core, now you can see it. How am I going to deal with this adversity? Or how are you going to deal with me in my adversity? But this is a symbol of divine grace. Maimonides says that this change in the walls from its normal appearance has no parallel in nature, the opposite of what the Ralbag said. Rather, it constitutes a sign and a wonder, Maimonides says, warning against, of course, the traditional responsa in Tazria Mitzorah. Maimonides says against Lashon Hara, against speaking evil, against gossip, against bad-mouthing somebody. And so I want to start here and say, okay, you know, the walls of my house are turning green and red. Maimonides says, yeah, it's not what Ralbag said. It's not mold or wetness, dampness. Rather, and there's something off here. And now I want to ask, stay with me if you can. What's the importance of it happening on the walls of my house? We already had on my skin, so you can see it, how does the community respond? On my clothing, we can go back to that if we want to. But now, let's take what Maimonides said about Lashon Hara. What is the wisdom of it being in these very walls of my house?
Foundational.
Give me, I love it, foundational, more.
Also, other people might live in your house.
Ooh, can you imagine? I built my house, right? I know. And my kids grew up in my house. All of them grew up in my house. It's not, if I am doing Lashon Hara in my house, it's not just my problem. I am modeling and mentoring to my children. I am teaching them much more through my actions than I am through whatever I said for them to do. If I model that we, in this house, we don't judge others, we don't speak negatively of others, then that's the foundation they're going to take. If, in fact, I am participating in this Lashon Hara, the very walls of the house are holding that message. I mean, you know, if you think about this, every time we pray, ve'ahavta, you know, on our doorposts, on our gates, we put the mezuzah, we say this is a Jewish home. We don't do that just to say I'm Jewish, which is nice too. We do that to say, in this house, these values are going to be the values with which I lead and live. And if I am dropping the ball on that, it's not just a personal thing, and it's not just a communal thing. Yes, it tells something to the community. The community walks by and they're like, oh my gosh, her walls are green and red. Whatever she's doing there is foundationally bad, but the ones that I'm raising, that I've raised in my house, also take that with them. Dave?
I'm thinking, I think it's important that they point out that the house should be vacated before the priest actually determines.
Dave thinks it's really interesting. Let me just, for people that are watching virtually, let me just say what Dave said. I think it's really interesting that the house needs to be vacated before the Kohen comes in. Why do you think that's interesting?
Well, because then you can isolate, is it within the family and their possession? In the family or their possessions or the house itself?
Yeah. If I happen to be I happen to really believe that all of this is indicative of what is going on. Like, I feel like Rita, I feel like it's a metaphor. So I love that it's so that you can isolate it. I want to stay right there. What's going on? Don't get confused by the kippah that I'm wearing, because the kippah is on my head, but my mouth is running about people. Don't be confused by my tzitzit. Oh, I look holy, because I'm going out and breaking laws afterwards. So this idea of isolating, Dave, is really good. Pay attention what actually is going on there. Don't let it be a facade that misleads you. Go to the core of it. Yeah.
Like a diagnostic.
It is. It's like a diagnostic. Get down to really understand what's going on. I'm going to push one more thing, just because I thought these were beautiful commentary this morning. Nachmanides comes. We're back to, again, do you remember Ralbag said it's a natural phenomena? And then Maimonides says it's a supernatural phenomena. And Nachmanides says it's no natural phenomena, agrees with Maimonides, but he says this is about when Israel or Israelites are in harmony with the source. I love this. Give me 1 second here. That when God's Spirit is manifest, is pleasing, is beautiful, is at work in this house. We began this morning saying, Yad Elohim, Elohim B'Kol. Well, I know that in the universe, the divine presence is manifest everywhere. How am I doing in my home? Am I lifting up, making space for, acknowledging, leaning into, living the divine presence in my home? That's the question that Nachmanides asks. And this is beautiful. I want you to stay with this image, and then I'll go to David. Imagine this, Marilyn, when I'm at one with God, and I walk in and you see me, and there's a radiance, right? And if I'm struggling with the divine presence in my life, I walk in and I look perplexed. I look disjointed. I look out of body. You know, that's what we do on Tuesday morning, is we try to settle into the sacred, right? Hopefully we do that every morning. That's what we do on Shabbat. So Nachmanides comes here and says, guys, this is not, it's not just about a sin happening. Yes, if you commit a sin, you're out of step with the divine. But to say even more than that, the presence of the tzara'at in your home means you're out of step with the divine presence, and that's what's becoming evident. Okay, David, go.
What I was going to say very simply is
I'm not sure, Mom.
a home, apartment, house, whatever, will take on the persona of the people who live there.
Mm-hmm. And fundamentally, when something is mikulkal, when something is amiss, when something's not working, it will also be communicated.
You can feel it in the house.
You'll feel it in how it affects people, right? So this is suddenly a really a incredibly challenging portion. Suddenly, really drives home for me in this question of, hey, how am I doing with my sacred work? How am I lifting that up? And if I'm, we're never, I like to say, this is one of the things that I like to say. I repeat myself. I apologize, but at least there are two people here who have never heard me say this, not you guys. You may have heard me already. But listen to this. Being Jewish is like flying a plane. I have this idea. That's where I want to get, right? But it's not like a road. I have to set my course. And sometimes I have to lift up my nose or lift up my tail, or I have to lean more right or lean more left. I have to change my altitude. I have to change my speed. It's not a perfect kind of, I can't say Alex, this is how we do it. This is what we do. I can say that, but that's not really true. I can say, oh, this doesn't work for you, then let's do it this way. Oh, we don't have time for this, and let's do it this way. Let's make time for this. It's this constant negotiation and adjustment, okay?
I have one question.
Please.
The owner of the house is supposed to go to the priest and say, there's a plague.
Yeah, I love this.
And it makes you wonder about the people who really have homes that are dysfunctional and not connected with the source, with understanding what they are doing and why it's like that. And I wonder if maybe a plague on the body is a way of alerting somebody else that there's something going on inside the house, because there are a lot of us who keep things inside houses and they're not seen outside.
So 2 pieces. I love what you're saying. The first is for you, the person whose house is infected, to go to the Kohen requires an awful lot of awareness.
Right.
I've got a problem, right? And with self-help groups, what we say is the first step to healing is that you recognize that you have a problem. And I love, Lauren, your challenge. That's great, but what if I'm not there? What if I don't get there? And suddenly, Lauren presents to us, hey, now I'm starting to understand these different levels. It's in the walls of the house. It's on the clothing. It's on the skin. So maybe, just maybe, if I'm the one who's keeping it in, if I'm the one who's hiding that things are not okay, then maybe that's part of the reason for the presentation of my clothes. So when I go out, something's off. Or on my skin, maybe this is like this trifecta. That it doesn't just happen one way. Best idea is if I can have that self-awareness, because then my healing will be most complete. It's not always so helpful if you notice on me that I'm not okay, and you're like, okay, Rabbi, this is an intervention. We need you to go for help. It's great, thank you. I'm so grateful for my community that you see it, and hopefully I'll find my way there through your wisdom, through your Rahmanis, Marty, because then we come back to what Marty said, Lauren, it depends how you're going to say it to me. Right. If you help me to see that I'm not okay, then maybe I can get help, and maybe I couldn't have done that alone. But this multiplicity of ways that it shows up, the thing that's not okay, is quite beautiful. In the Sifra, in the Talmud, Rabbi Yehuda says, the incidence of such plagues bore a message. And then we have to figure out what the message is, right? So I went on my bully pulpit, my rampage last night about one of the messages. I had like 14 others that I wanted to scream about. But tonight, this morning, I want us to just, and I'm going to come back to David in a minute, but I want you to hear your connection. So Al-Chish says, again, that this thing about the walls is so that society notices. So I just want you to hear that you're right in really solid commentary here, that the idea, I pass your house and I'm like, uh-oh. And we know how hard that is. Something's not okay in Lauren's house now. How do I find the way to reach out, right? Maybe you're going to come. Maybe you're not. Okay. It's beautiful.
The way it goes, the human being, the clothes, and then the wall, seems to be the nature of God. Abraham, you're going to leave your land, your home, and your family. The plagues, first it has to do with nature, then to animals, then to human beings. Now when it comes to the leprosy, it's the same thing in groups of 3. it's going to be, it could be actually in reverse, but it could be you, your clothing, and your house, or the other way around.
I'm going to take what you're saying and link it to what Dave challenged us with. We okay?
I just thought I saw, yeah, this is the way walking outside.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going to take what you're saying and link it to what Dave said, because I actually think this is, there are two more pieces I want to make sure we sit with. The first is, this whole thing about the isolation, that's the first thing I want to like pick apart. And then the second piece will be the dismantling, stone by stone, the
Brick and mortar.
the stuff in between the stones that's holding it together. So this idea, I'm going to ask, what is it about isolation? What is it about us needing to isolate someone? Welcome, please, wherever you're comfortable. What is it about us isolating? We are in the middle of, this is our Saturday morning practice, so we just read Torah, and now we're just at the end of our Torah discussion. Tazria Mitzorah, perhaps you know, pretty hefty Leviticus, Leviticus 12, 13, and 14, and now we are looking at the Tzara'at as it appears in the building, in the edifice. So I'm going to ask this last two questions. What is it about the isolation? Because I heard you say, like, right, Abraham has to do a lech lecha.
Right.
Go forth, leave everything behind. And here we have, I'm not going to deal with the threes for this minute, but I am going to say, and of course what we could say about the three is kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. Leave your home, your birthplace, your father's house, your birthplace, and your land. So, me'artzcha, your land, mimoladetcha, your birthplace, beit avicha, and your father's house, in that order. Sorry about that. So there is three, so David is saying something good, but I want to ask about the isolation first. Why does there need to be isolation?
Why is what?
Why does there need to be isolation?
Well, we learned it from COVID.
Oh, so we're learning from COVID, please.
I'm just kind of thinking it could kind of be a symbol for how it spreads, that kind of negativity and gossip, the contagiousness of it. And
So absolutely. So the thing that we do, remember, and I was saying we're not going to call it leprosy because we don't know that it's leprosy, but we do know that it's contagious. It's tzara'at, it's contagious. And this idea that, well, first of all, the isolation it spreads. This negativity spreads. So the isolation is for the purpose of to get a handle on the spread. Good. More. Lovely. Perfect. More.
To yield the person who's been infected in this structure and this environment and all of this, you need to remove. It's almost like therapy that breaks down a structure. This person needs to be taken out of all that.
If you're in a system that's not working, right? Where if you're in a system that's not working, or if you're the person who has gone astray. You know, I think about my life, my week, my day, right? I get an email and it's 4 days later and I haven't responded to the email. I'm doing as much as I can. And then Lauren says, well, wait a minute. If something you're not doing right, step out so that you can break an energy that just keeps you propelled forward and doesn't give you the ability to stop and say, how can I do this differently? We step back. Abraham steps back so that he can go forward. We read in Lech Lecha, go forth, but we read in Lech Lecha, go to yourself. It's the same two words. Go forth, Lech Lecha, or Lech Lecha, go to yourself. Maybe, Lauren, without a doubt, we don't want this to spread. right? We already talked about if it's in my walls, that's what I'm teaching my children, that's what they're learning. We don't want it to spread, this negativity. And if we want to change it, we need perspective. We need contemplative quiet. We need to be able to see, even if I wasn't able to be aware on my own, the separation that Dave was talking about, get out of my systems that aren't working so that I can come back and do better. The whole idea is to come back and do better. And now that brings me to my second and my last pressing point for this morning is that description that I gave you. Taking apart, dismantling the stones, scraping them, and then rebuilding is the second piece of what Lauren said. That if something's not working, you can't just keep putting more layers on it, right? You got a crack in your ceiling, so you put another thing of paint and another thing of paint and another thing of paint, but you never stop to realize, why is there the crack? You know, what's going on here? And this response from the Torah that tells us we don't know what it is, but we know it's not good. We know it threatens our livelihood, our community, the individual, and this beautiful invitation to dismantle, get perspective, and rebuild. Powerful stuff. That is the purpose. Other questions, thoughts, responses?
What you said is absolutely, it's actually a Buddhist thing. It says, when you step back, you can see things more clearly.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Other pushes, thoughts, questions?
Does it reach the point of being a chukat?
Being a law?
Chukat.
Chukat are laws.
No, chukat. Like you don't know why. Like the, what do you call it? Mixing wool and linen.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it actually invites us to do a deep dive inward, to identify what is amiss, and an invitation to actually address it, and that's the rebuilding.
It's like trying to figure out the Inquisition and the Holocaust.
No, you're sticking with your point even though I disagree with you. So I'm going to say no. There are things when you're talking about things that are just not explainable. But
right.
Here I think the invitation is to actually go to the root of what is amiss and to address it, the exact opposite of what you're saying. At least that's my take on it.
Well, in certain ways we did address it, but too late.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. All right. So I'm going to take a moment to just catch you up with some announcements. Tomorrow morning, our Zimit Religious School is at 9:30 a.m. Our Jewish Learning Adventure. Next week, Tuesday morning meditation and Torah study with me at 8:45. Anybody who would like to join, it is virtual. Many things we're doing back in person. We do have HEPA filters here, and we're very, depending on everybody has done all of their vaccinations, and we'll put on a mask as they get closer as they need to. But this Torah study we have maintained virtually. Everyone can join it. Tuesday at 8:45, and Torah study beginning at 9. That's meditation. Torah study at 9:15. Wednesday, trope class at noon. Wednesday at 4 p.m., conversational Hebrew. Next week, Shabbat services here at 6 p.m. Friday and 10 a.m. Saturday. I want to just share with everybody that on May 5th will be the third of our 4 community meals, Shabbos meals this year. And this is twofold, bringing back something that was beloved to our congregation pre-COVID, to have dinner together. But especially as we come out of COVID, we've really only had a handful of times that we've been able to break bread together. What you can expect on May 5th is that we'll be in the social hall. Everybody will bring a meal, a vegetarian or vegan, a no-meat meal. Enough for the people that they're coming with and or their family and or their partners, and something to share with someone else. And we will do Shabbos together the way that you might expect in my home, that will open with blessings and singing, and we'll have a little bit of Torah around the table. We'll make place for anyone who needs Misha Berach, a prayer for healing, or anyone saying Kaddish. But mostly the evening will be lively discussion, socializing, and a ton of Shabbos singing. So on that Shabbat, we won't actually sit in prayer, but bring our Shabbos observance as a Kabbalat Shabbat.
That's Friday night, right?
Friday, May 5th. That's coming up. And keep in mind that our next holiday of this year before we head into summer is Shavuot. You know this because you're counting with me last night, and today we are on the 16th day of the Omer. So we're making our way from liberation, from slavery through liberation to Shavuot, to Matan Torah, where we're going to be able to stay up into the late nights into late night, into at least midnight and a minute. And it always goes a little longer than that. We have a great subject for study. And then the next morning at 5 a.m., we have a sunrise service at Kingston Point Beach. So this is stuff you guys really want to be part of. It's great for everyone who's joining us virtually. But most important, look on our website at our calendar and for all of our listings, and make sure to call the office and get on our weekly This Week and Beyond reminder so that you can be part of what's going on. Yeah, holding this place, I'm going to just before we close, I'm going to do two things. Welcome anyone who is just joining us for the first time to just tell us who you are, and then add to that some sorot tovot, any good news that people want to share before we move to close the service. So, introductions. Anyone willing to say hello?
Hi, I'm Rachel. This is my oldest daughter, Molly.
Hi, Rachel and Molly.
Yeah,
We're-
I've been here just for an event before, but we haven't.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here, Rachel and Molly, and we hope that you want to come through the doors as frequently as is good for you.
Thank you so much.
We're thrilled. Great. So welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
Nigel, this is Gabby, from Brooklyn. Just visiting. We saw you exist. Sorry that you're here so late.
We're so thrilled that you came through the door.
We remember King Street and St.
Amazing. We wish you had seen our service this morning because we're so proud of what we do. And of course, I know Kane Street. And I don't know, but I know, yeah. But I heard that. Like, well, and we hope you come to, we call ourselves Little Brooklyn now in Kingston. So whenever you need a break from Big Brooklyn, come to Little Brooklyn. And what I will share with you is that we're always here, except in the summertime, we are only Friday nights. So July and August, mostly outdoor services in the back in the woods. And we don't do Saturday morning, July and August. September, we're back every Friday, every Saturday. So anytime you're up, look for us. But if you do come up over the summer, make sure you come Friday night because we're a small congregation. We're not as big as Kane Street. Hey. 6 p.m. so that everyone can go for Shabbos meal afterwards. 6 p.m. and yeah. Sorot tovot, any good news that folks want to share? Do you have good news for me? Do you have good news? Did Mama make you happy? What's the good news? Anyone? Sorot tovot? Oh my goodness. Good that I didn't ask last night. Come on, you guys. Anyone want to give good news? I'll give Ellen's good news. I already did it. Ellen's feeling so healed, so much so that she danced today with us. I know I said it, but it's worth saying twice. And so much so that we got to take you off of the healing list. That's amazing.
Amen.
Dave.
I can say we started a garden with the
Oh,
Reinhardt Apartment.
that's amazing. In your new home. And are others going to participate with you guys?
No, this is
Just in your space.
Outdoor space, but it's,
That must feel so great. I mean,
hands dirty, not,
Yeah.
oh, now you can start to feel like it's really your home. We know Dave needs dirty hands to feel like he belongs, right? Good.
Hey, that was the Pesach Seder that you
Oh,
organized.
Ed, you should know that. You organized it.
28 people came, and we all took turns reading.
Excellent.
And the
You wanna
food
see
was
everybody?
good, and it was just great.
So it was great. We heard great things about it. One more. Anything else? Good news.
Molly just made it to the National Honor Society.
Awesome.
That's extraordinary. Extraordinary. Well, that's fantastic. That's such good stuff.
Okay, May 16th, I'm going to visit my daughter and granddaughter for the first time in 3 years.
Oh, yay.
I'm going by bus. I love a bus. I don't know why.
Well, I'm really thrilled that you're going. I can't say I'm thrilled. I'm really happy that you're on the bus and not me. But
Well, I'm going to Missouri, so that's,
yeah, it's worth a bus ride.
yeah.
587, imagining that we can really bring this goodness, this divinity into the world. As you are able, stand, and we face Yerushalayim the third time this morning for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer b'reshit, shehu seven kalkeinu le'yached et shemo, v'gor aleinu le'hamlich malchuto. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. If you are someone who has sustained a recent loss, if you are in your Shiv'ah or your Shana, your Shiva, your Shloshim, or your Shana this last week, this last month, or this last year, if you are in your journey of grief, please stand at this time. So for all those who are joining us virtually, I am holding all of the loved ones from our congregation who lost their hold on life this year as you continue your Shana. So too will I bring the yard sites of loved ones who died in this season in years past. As I say the names, I ask that you stand with the name of your loved one: Bertha Bauman, Joseph Block, Harris Morris, Phoebe Cohn, Barry Cohen's mother, David Halpert, remembered by Judy Robbins, Aaron Heisman, Conrad Heisman's father, Helen Kletsky, Sidney Levine, Adele Corvin's brother, Arnold Lieberman, Evie Rosenthal's brother, Harold Mandel, Alvin Marblestone, Ann Markle, Linda Sumber's sister-in-law, Martin Michaels, Samantha Michaels' grandfather, Mason Millens, Harold Nussbaum, Richard Pursley, Sally Anderson's husband, Eleanor Quarterer, remembered lovingly by Fred and Joan Quarterer, Stephen Raymond, Eli Bosch's brother-in-law, Lonnie Rector, Kahana Skalnick's father, and Rachel Samter, Zichronam Livracha. It is our tradition to stand with those who are standing, shoulder to shoulder, 592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old people that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for the other walking the street beside you. When you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. On this week of having gone through Yom HaShoah and standing before Yom HaZikaron, we remember the 6 million Jews. We remember the 12 million human souls that perished in the Shoah. We remember the soldiers of Israel, and we remember all of the innocents, Jews and Palestinians, who died because of violence being rampant, and we pray for healing and understanding, for democracy and for health as we move forward toward the future, for the people of every race and nation who live their lives as a blessing to humanity. We affirm that goodness. 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal. Shmei d'kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol b'nei Adam v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. Alexandra and I want you to spread your Shabbos wings, so I invite you to page 632. And I know that this has not been a regular CEHV Shabbat morning melody, but it is one that reminds me of my childhood. And since this whole Shabbos I've been doing childhood memories, why not one more? Yivarech Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Yivarech Kol Yisrael, Ein Adir Adonai, Ve'en Baruch Keven Amram, Ein Gedola Kahatorah, Ein Dershanei HaKyisrael, Mipiel, Yivarech Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Yivarech Kol Yisrael, Ein Hador Kadonai, Ve'en Vatik Keven Amram, Ein Zahaka כהתורה ואין חכמיה כישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. אין טהור כאדוני ואין יחיד כבן עמרם. אין כבירה כהתורה ואין למדניה כישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. אין פודה כאדוני ואין צדיק כבן עמרם. אין קדושה כהתורה ואין תומכיה כישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יברך כל ישראל. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות, come join me, השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. סברי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן, אמן לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Thank you to Ellen for the homemade challah, everybody. This is the best challah in Little Kingston. Little Brooklyn. I meant to say that. It didn't come out right. So come and help yourselves.
Thank you, Ellen. Beautiful, beautiful reading.
Rachel and Molly, right?
Sorry about the...
Are you guys getting emails?
I thought it would be nice to have this.
Yeah,
but then I totally
You are
understand
fantastic.
it's a little bit...
That is great. Come get some challah. Help yourselves. It really is amazing challah. So, do you remember what event you were here for?